Stefan tricks the fairy with a false promise of love and gives her a drink that makes her unconscious. He wants to kill her but can't bring himself to do it, so he cuts off her wings and presents them to the king. Pleased, the king arranges for Stefan to marry his daughter. The next day, when the fairy regains consciousness and realizes her wings are missing, she sets out to find and punish Stefan for his betrayal. On her way, she sees a man holding a raven captive. She uses her magic to turn the raven into a human and takes him with her towards the palace. Maleficent is about to take the king's daughter away as revenge, but just then, the king's soldiers arrive and throw a metal net over her, causing her immense pain. Maleficent uses magic to transform her raven companion into a dragon, who breathes fire and defeats all the soldiers. Meanwhile, the princess, locked in a room, finds Maleficent's wings, which are fluttering because their owner is nearby. The princess frees the wings, and they fly back to Maleficent, restoring her powers completely. She breaks a window and tries to escape, but Stefan grabs onto her wings, once again attempting to cut them off. Will this fairy succeed in taking revenge on Stefan? To find out, let's dive into the detailed explanation of the film. At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to a beautiful young fairy named Maleficent, who lives alone in a magical, enchanting land. She spends all her time playing with animals, completely unaware of the outside world. One day, a boy named Stefan, of her age, sneaks into the magical land searching for a diamond. Maleficent takes the diamond from him and tells him to leave, but he keeps returning to the magical land. Gradually, a strong friendship grows between them, and they spend their days playing together. As they grow older, they begin to develop feelings for each other. Stefan confesses to Maleficent that he dreams of living in the palace across from the magical land, but Maleficent doesn't realize that he is driven by greed. One day, Stefan leaves the magical land and never returns. Years pass, and one day, the king from the palace arrives with his army to attack the magical land. Maleficent confronts him, telling him he cannot enter. Enraged, the king orders his soldiers to kill her and bring back her body. Equally furious, Maleficent fights back with all the creatures of the magical land, and the soldiers are overwhelmed and flee to save their lives. In the next scene, the king is shown in a dire condition, lying on his bed. He calls his strongest soldiers and announces that whoever kills Maleficent and brings proof will be rewarded with his daughter's hand in marriage. One middle-aged soldier steps forward to accept this mission. None other than Stefan, the same boy who once played with Maleficent as a child. Stefan heads toward the magical land to kill her. Upon seeing him, Maleficent recognizes him and asks where he has been all these years. Stefan explains that he was imprisoned by the king for many years and has now escaped to warn her because the king plans a massive attack soon. Through sweet and caring words, Stefan deceives her and gives her a drink that renders her unconscious. Although he initially intends to kill her, he cannot go through with it. Instead, he cuts off her wings and takes them to the king, claiming he has killed her. In return, the king fulfills his promise and arranges Stefan's marriage to his daughter. The next day, when Maleficent regains consciousness, she realizes her wings are missing and cries out in anguish, knowing that Stefan has betrayed her by taking her wings to the king. One day, while wandering outside her magical land, Maleficent sees a crow trapped in a net by a human who is about to kill it. She uses her magic to turn the crow into a human. Grateful, the crow pledges loyalty to her, saying he would do anything for her. Maleficent names him Dyaval and sends him to the castle to spy on Stefan. Dyaval brings her news from the castle, informing her that Stefan cut off her wings just to marry the king's daughter. A year later, Stefan and the queen have a daughter named Princess Aurora, and many people from far away come to celebrate her birth. Among them is Maleficent, who sneaks into the castle and places a curse on the infant princess, declaring that on her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on a spindle within the castle and die. Horrified, Stefan falls to his knees and begs her not to punish his daughter for his sins, but the curse has already been cast. Maleficent mentions that there is only one way to break the curse. If Aurora finds true love before her 16th birthday, the curse will end on its own. Desperate to protect his daughter, Stefan calls upon 3 fairies and asks them to take Aurora far away until her 16th birthday. reasoning that if she is not in the castle, she cannot prick her finger. The fairies take Princess Aurora to a distant forest. As time goes on, Stefan, seeking revenge, attempts to attack Maleficent's magical realm, but he cannot penetrate its strong defenses and retreats in failure. Meanwhile, the three fairies who are supposed to care for Aurora are neglectful and careless. Maleficent secretly watches over the princess, saving her life on several occasions, such as when she nearly falls off a cliff. Gradually, Maleficent develops a deep affection for Aurora. Though she sometimes tries to scare the young princess, Aurora only laughs in response, endearing herself even more to Maleficent. By the time Aurora is 15, she begins to wonder about the world beyond the fairies' forest. One day, as she tries to leave, she calls out loudly, sensing she is being watched. Aurora invites whoever is there to come forward, because she has many questions. Maleficent appears, surprising Aurora, who joyfully calls her grandmother and thanks her for watching over her and saving her from harm many times. This unexpected warmth from Aurora touches Maleficent deeply, and from that day, the two develop a close bond. Time flies, and Aurora is nearing her 16th birthday. Maleficent has grown so fond of her that she no longer wishes for the curse to take effect. One night, Maleficent tries to break the curse with all her magical powers, but it has grown so powerful over the years that even she cannot lift it. Realizing this, she hopes that Aurora will find true love before her 16th birthday. Yet, Maleficent knows that finding true love in such a short time is nearly impossible. The next morning, as they talk in the forest, Aurora asks Maleficent why she has no wings like other fairies. Maleficent explains that she once had wings and could fly high across the land. But one day, a cruel and greedy man betrayed her trust and cut off her wings while she slept. As she recounts this painful memory, Maleficent becomes deeply emotional. The next day, Aurora reassures Maleficent, telling her not to worry. Tomorrow is her 16th birthday, and afterward, she plans to leave the fairies and stay with Maleficent forever. However, she is unaware that Maleficent's curse will take effect as soon as she turns 16, leading to her death. While wandering in the forest that same day, Aurora meets a young man her age, and they take an immediate liking to each other. Later, Aurora returns and tells the fairies that she will be 16 tomorrow and that she wants to live with Maleficent after that. Thinking that she already knows the truth, the fairies reveal everything to her: that her father stole Maleficent's wings, and that the curse was placed on her in revenge, causing her to die upon turning 16. Shocked and disbelieving, Aurora rushes to Maleficent and confronts her, asking if what the fairies said is true. Maleficent admits that, yes, she cursed her out of vengeance against her father, but now she loves her deeply. Aurora, hurt and unwilling to listen further, flees to the castle to be with her father. Seeing Aurora return early, Stefan becomes furious with the fairies, questioning why they brought her back before her 16th birthday. He orders his guards to lock her in a room to protect her from any sharp object that could fulfill the curse. Yet that night, a mysterious force leads Aurora to the castle's basement, where she pricks her finger on a spindle, immediately falling unconscious. When Maleficent hears of this, she rushes to the castle, bringing the young man Aurora had met, hoping that he may be her true love and can awaken her. He kisses Aurora on the forehead, but nothing happens. Heartbroken and guilt-ridden, Maleficent begins to cry. She kisses Aurora on the forehead and turns to leave, only for Aurora to awaken suddenly. It turns out that Maleficent's true love and deep affection were enough to break the curse. Aurora calls to her, telling her she no longer wants to stay in the castle and would rather be with her grandmother, Maleficent. As Maleficent is about to take Aurora away, Stefan's guards capture her, throwing an iron net over her. Iron is deadly to fairies, causing Maleficent immense pain. She uses her magic to turn Dyaval, the crow, into a dragon, who breathes fire and defeats many of Stefan's soldiers. Soon, Stefan himself arrives, dressed in armor, while Aurora finds Maleficent's wings in a room. The wings are fluttering, drawn to their owner. Aurora frees them, allowing them to fly back to Maleficent, who regains her full power. Maleficent attempts to escape with her wings, but Stefan grabs onto them, trying once again to cut them off. Maleficent, initially reluctant to kill him, eventually uses her full strength, causing Stefan to lose his grip and fall to his death. His tragic end brings the story of this villainous king to a close. With Stefan gone, Maleficent becomes the queen of the realm, and Aurora takes her place in the magical land. Maleficent removes the boundaries between the human and magical worlds, allowing both creatures to live together in harmony. This final scene closes the story on a hopeful note, with peace restored between the two worlds.